This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF6951. Alright guys, now it's time for the next step on your layout. Trees! I have been dealing with Bob for 7 years now, and he does excellent work on his trees. So if you need some trees on your layout, check out Long Shadow's Trees. Tell him the Cuz sent you. Hey guys and gals, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is BNSF 6951. I am your host, and I am Vinny. If you guys are interested in model train layouts, model train layout updates, run sessions, and op sessions, how about if you're interested in scratch builds and kit builds? Well, we do that too. Tips, tricks, and techniques are also included in my videos. So if you guys are interested in any kind of these videos, please consider to subscribe. And after you subscribe, hit the bell. This way you'll get notified when I upload a video or do a live stream. And when you get done with all of that, please give me a thumbs up. That helps my analytics in YouTube. With all of that being said, we'll be back shortly. Let's get on with the video. Alright guys, we are back now with, I believe this is going to be number 6 on the build for Mr. Roy Eltham. Anyhow, in order for me to build the next 3 structures, I have to make sure that this guy, the main building, is 100% together, together and square at the same time. So this wall is going to be going on the inside of this wall. And as you can see, there's very little gluing area right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this, which will make it look like another pilaster or column or whatever you guys want to call it, and it would give me double the amount of glue. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera, and when we come back, we'll start to put this wall onto this wall, and we'll see how that goes. And we'll do the same thing for the other, and then we'll add the inside walls also. So stay tuned and we shall be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start putting these walls together, and I am going to try and use this touch and flow, and let's see how it's going to work. So I'm using the solvent that came in the kit, and this is how you do it. You put the tube, attach it to the filling up bottle, you stick it in here, and you squeeze out, and then you squeeze in, and we should get some in there, and it is filling up. Very cool. All right, take this guy off, and we're going to put him down for a minute. I want to close this bottle up. There we go. Now, basically, all I need to do is touch this to the plastic, and it should flow out, and we'll see how it works. It is flowing out, that's for sure. All right, let's see how that's going to work. We'll let it sit for a few minutes, and we'll see how it's going to hold. I'm using glues that I don't know, adhesive that I don't know, so I don't know how they're going to work. So this is actually a test. But the reason why I want to use this is so it doesn't leave a glue residue on the brick. And I don't see any residue on there right now. And that looks pretty good. All right, we're just going to let it sit there for a few minutes and see if it holds up, I guess. So with that being said, we will be back shortly. Alright guys, and we are back again. We are continuing on this build, and what you are looking now in front of you is in the previous clip of this, you saw me do that angle window back there. Now we're going to work on the building that's in front of it, and if you look to the right side picture, you'll see that this is the opposite side, so there's two of those small buildings and one tall building that's in the middle. Now, in order for me to do that, I have to do the roof of the main building, at least get some of the structure done so I can measure some of the angles. So with that being said, let's get down to the other camera, and we'll see what's going on. Alright guys, as you can see right now, I have the building totally together. Put a couple of supports in there. I might put some more in there, I'm not 100% sure yet. And I also put the foundation for the roof in here. Now, why am I putting the foundation? There's a couple of reasons. Number one, this roof is going to be removable. So I have to make sure it's exact the way it is in the picture with all the extra moldings that are around the sides. And also, it gives him a place to mount lights. I know when John Dilly went there last week and took some pictures for me, and actually took some videos for me, I noticed that there was some lights up under here on both sides, and inside has a beautiful, beautiful interior. Anyhow, with all that being said, as you can see, I already marked the center line here, and I randomly chose the roof angle, not knowing if it's good or not, and I don't know what I did with them. I lost the roofs. Oh no! These are them. I just chose at random a roof angle. The only thing I need to do is make sure that these are perfectly centered here, because this roof is going to have a slight overhang on it. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure these out. I'm only going to put 4 in here. I'm going to measure these out, and we're going to start putting these down. So also, I did show this on my last Friday night stream. Last Friday night was the 23rd. And I showed how I put the roof together, but I wanted to use a stronger plastic here, so I was taking this off and I accidentally, oops. So you just need to know that you need to go slowly when you're building something. Anyhow, I'm going to go off camera, I'm going to measure this all out, and I'm going to start mounting some of these puppies on here, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned, and we shall be back in a minute. Alright guys, we're going to start measuring this roof section out. I did do a little bit more reinforcement here. I made this a double on both of these here, so the roof will have some good support as far as this is concerned. I may have to put more at each end, I'm not sure yet. I don't know how I'm going to cover that up, but anyhow, we'll continue on. So the first measurement is going to be 55 millimeters from the edge to the first roof support. And then from there, we will measure, and it'll be the same on both sides, and then we'll equally share up the 2 center pieces I'm going to do. So I got my little trusty square here, and we're just going to push him up to the line. And I'm also using my grid on my dealie here to make sure that my lines are straight. So we're right there. All right, and we'll just go ahead and draw that line. All right, so that's going to be the placement of the first roof support. I'm calling roof support only because inside the real building there are trusses, wooden trusses, and that would be a little bit, I would have to give that to Mr. Ron at wow, we're really off there. How come? Maybe I didn't measure right. Measure twice. Measure twice. See, that's a 55. And that one's at 55. So that must mean that this is not straight. So we will do the one that's the furthest. And actually, it might be just my eyeballs. All right, we'll put it right there. All right, so we got our first two placements. Now we're going to go ahead and do the two center ones. Now I already know what the measurement's going to be. I'm going to put them 65 millimeters from each side, and that's where my second ones will be. And here's 65 millimeters here. And we'll do 65 millimeters here. And that will give me 62 millimeters between the two, which is okay because that's pretty centered as far as I'm concerned. We'll go ahead and draw this out. Oh, and by the way, if you guys watch Ron at New Haven Rails, he's got this tool that protects your fingers. It's a straight edge that's either a 6-inch or a 12-inch, and it's got this like a dam in between, and so when you're cutting, you could watch your fingers. And I tell you what, doing this build, I could have used it. If you see my finger right there, I took off my fingernail right there, making a cut because my finger was too far over the blade of over the ruler. So be careful on that. That's all I can say. All right, right there. Boy, that don't look straight to me. No, according to this, it is. So. All right. Yeah, it does look straight. All right, now with all of our lines drawn out, what we're going to do is I'm going to put some supports across here, which will also stiffen up the roof a little bit more, in addition to the bracing that I'm going to have in here. And I just might put more in here. I'm not 100% sure because this is a full sheet of 6 by 12. Now, speaking of that size, I want you to know that when I pulled this out of the bag and I measured it from here to here, it was more than 6 inches. It was like 6 inches and maybe a 16th or a 32nd or something like that. And the same thing with the length. It wasn't exactly 12 inches. It was more than 12 inches. So I had to trim this down to get it to fit this body right here. Anyhow, that's my little rant about that. So now the thing is, we're going to start mounting these guys. And like I said, they have to be pretty accurate as far as where they go. So anyhow, let me prepare for that, make sure all of these are the exact same size, and we'll come back here in a little bit. Alright guys, we're starting with the tedious process now of putting these roof supports on here. And I need to make sure that they're pretty much all identical. So what we're going to do is I already put them together and clamped them together and sanded them down, and hopefully they're all the same size. And what I'm using here is either a number 175 or a number 176 a styrene strip. And that's what I'm going to secure this to the roof with. And again, I'll put this on a flat surface and push down on it, make sure it's even with the bottom, which it is right now. And we'll be putting that on there pretty soon. Now here's another one that I already have put the piece on, and we're going to go ahead and put him in place. Make sure that we're right on the edge here on both sides, and we look good. So we'll go ahead and, I'm not going to totally glue these down just yet. I see a little bit down here. I'm just going to give it like a spot glue, like a spot weld, except a spot glue. And we'll see how everything lines up when I put it on top of the building. And these two front pieces here that are going to be angled going towards the center of the building. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have the next buildings that I'm doing, like I showed you in that picture. This building has to be, at least have a roof on it so I can do the next measurements that I need to do. All right, that one looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and give him a spot glue. So what I mean by that is I'm just going to put just a dot in a couple of places just to hold it in place while I do this, and I'm putting the support towards the center. There's no rhyme or reason why. That's just the way I'm doing it. Now, most of you guys that have watched my mail call, I forgot to, well, I didn't forget, I just didn't have these yet, but I ordered 2 more packed, so I ordered 4 more of these guys, and believe me, they are so helpful when you're doing stuff like this. The whole stuff up for you. Sorry if my head's in the way, guys. I gotta get this guy right on that line. I'm going to measure that because it doesn't look right. It should be 55. See, this one here is not 55. All right, that's good right where it's at. So I'm going to put this guy here just to keep him standing proud. Oops, but not push it like I just did. Interesting. Come on, stand up now. Be nice. All right, well, anyhow, you guys get the idea. I'm just going to go ahead and finish the rest of these guys, and we'll continue on from there, see what other trouble we can get into. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got all the roof supports in here, all 4 of them, and I just spaced them out pretty evenly. I am, however, going to put a couple cross members in between here to give me more solid place for the roof to attach to, and also I'm going to put siding strips along the edges here. You can see that I also have my front angle pretty much done, like that. Now, because I have this done, my next thing is to semi-attach the roof section for this half of the building. And why do I say half of the building? Is because I have stuff to build on this side here. So here's the roof. It's not cut out for this angle yet. It's just going to be a placeholder for me. So get this down here close as we can. And you know what? I'm just going to tape it this way. Like I said, it's just going to be a placeholder for me, so I can go ahead and start making some measurements for the other part of the build. All right, so now we have this, and you can see that I'm going to have a little lopsy-dopsy here, so I'm going to have to put supports in there just to make sure that I don't get this, even though I'm going to put a second layer on top of here. Anyhow, this is what I came up with for the next part of this build. And it looks kind of like this. And it will go between these 2 openings, or archways, however you want to call it. And then there'll be, oops, and then there'll be things like this that are really not to the exact drawings yet. So we got that one there, and then we have this one here. But there is a lot more room in between here, so these are not adjusted correctly. I do have the new sizes already printed out there, but when it comes to angles, I am at a total disadvantage because I do not know trigonometry, I do not know angles or anything like that. So the roof section that I need to put here took me all of these tries to get the roof section the way I needed to get it. And finally, I came up with, I came up with the solution. Hold on. And these are not fully done yet. But anyhow, as far as I can see in the picture, there is some sort of a catwalk there or something, and it has some kind of equipment up there. Then here is the final drawing, or the final piece of the puzzle. So this guy will fit in here like that, and I will go ahead and secure him down. And let me tell you, it took a long time to get to get that angle right. And then we'll put this guy back on this side, and And basically, straighten you out, son of a gun. It's kind of hard just working with this tape. And the reason why I'm only doing a mock-up of this is because I need to cut windows out. But anyhow, that's kind of like what it's going to look like. That piece keeps falling out until it gets glued in. That's kind of like what it's going to look like. Let me flip it around a little bit so you can see what it's going to look like. I'm actually afraid to turn this. I'll put it that way. Yeah. So that's what you guys see there. And according to the picture, I see that this part of the roof only goes about halfway up the main roof, and then there'll be more on this side once I get to that section. Anyhow, I need to take this apart and start cutting some windows out. Make sure that this gets cut down to where it's supposed to be. Make sure all my walls are the same exact size so I have a square building, and so on and so forth. So with all that being said, we will be back very, very shortly. Alright guys, let me give you a rundown of what this area is supposed to look like. Okay, up here on this building here, we're going to have a window, a vent, and another window. Then on the side, we're going to get a window on each side. And this guy here is going to be an office entrance and an employee entrance, and then ticket windows right here. And then this side here is just going to get a double steel door and a people door. And that's what this area is going to look like. And of course, it's all going to get covered in brick. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut all the windows out and all the doors and all that kind of stuff. And when I come back, maybe we can dress this up with some brick and see what it looks like. In the meanwhile, I'm going to take this outside and give it a spritz with some paint. As you can see, these ones have already been painted. So we'll put them on the side there, and we'll go paint these, and we'll be back here shortly. Alright guys, as we continue on this build for Mr. Roy Eltham, you are looking at 4 views of the area I just showed you in the previous clip. As you can see, this here is an aerial view looking down. This is the section that we're doing right here. And then you can see different shots of the same area. This is a side view. Now, confused me about these 2 pictures is this is the same picture, except this one's got windows and this one does not have windows. So I called Roy on that, and I called Mr. John Dilly on that, and they said, yes, this is what it has right now. It has the ticket windows. This is for, I believe, for the Greyhound bus people. You can see there's an entrance here. There's an entrance down here. I'm sorry about the color, the brightness of the video, guys. You got entrance here, you got people entrance here, and you have a window here. All right, so I'm going to show you being at a disadvantage of not being a carpenter or a contractor or good at math. I'm going to show you the trials and tribulations I had to go through to get this angle right here. Anyhow, with all that being said, let me get down to the workbench, get organized, and we will continue from there. Stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, what you're looking at now is the area I am trying to replicate in the pictures I just showed you guys. This was definitely a test of patience. As you can see here in front of you, how many times I've tried to get this angle to match up with this building. Well, I was about to give up and just pack this, whatever I have made, and ship it off to Roy and say, here you go, bud, I'm sorry, you don't owe me anything, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of figured out that this building is too short. Yep. So what I am going to do is I am going to raise it up by about 5 millimeters to make this wall match up with that wall, like that. So I'm going to take another piece of this plastic, and let me tell you something, I'm running low on this plastic. And I am going to put it over the front like that. and I'm going to do the sides, and I'm going to cut all the windows back out, and so on and so forth. And then it should be at the proper height, because I already tested it with putting some styrene under here to raise it up. And then I tried, and here is the new version of the roof. And I know there's a lot of tape on there, but when I raise this up to where it needs to be, this roof lines up perfectly with the angle here and the angle here. So, with all that being said, this was definitely a learning curve, and it was one of the reasons why I almost turned this down, is because I don't know if I can do all these angles. As you can see right here, there's another angle here, and then on the other side, there's another intersecting roof section that's got to go on this side. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and do this off of camera, and I'll bring it back when it's all finished and cut out and all that kind of good stuff, and I'll show you. I'll go ahead and make up the new roofs, and we'll try it and see if it works. Hopefully it will. Anyhow, we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, as you can see, my patience paid off, and I got this roof to be perfectly matched up with this roof here. So, all I have to say about that is, be patient on when you do these kind of builds. Now, there are two buildings, one here and one here, that you guys will see in the next video. There is a walkway up here with some mechanical stuff, maybe like air conditioning and stuff like that. This roof here, as you can see, is way off. I need to redo this roof right here. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and complete this roof, make it perfect. And then we will go ahead and start on the roof sections on the opposite side, and we need to make it all work out before I actually put let's see, where do I have that stuff? No. Anyhow, I have roof material that I am putting on top of there. I don't know where it's at right now. It shouldn't be too far away from here, but anyhow, so yeah, anyhow, with all that being said, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. And as always, your questions, comments, subscribes, and all that kind of stuff is welcome. For now, that's all, folks. BNSF 6951 out.